Welcome to the True Grimaldi podcast. We have quite a show for you guys today. Hopefully we get some better audio than we did the other day on Thanksgiving, but we're going to move on. Glad to be here. We got a big Michigan game today, so we're going to maybe do a little shorter show today, but we got a lot to hit on, so let's get going. Here's a video. Let's get started. Here's a video of Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan chanting "Death to America." And people are starting to say, why are they even here in the first place? Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Not a great look. The mayor condemned it. The White House condemned it. But what about Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib? She reps Dearborn. Is she okay with her constituents chanting "Death to America"? Fox Business correspondent Hillary Vaughn asked her. Watch.
Congresswoman Tlaib.
Fox News. I don't talk to Fox News.
At a rally in your district, people were chanting "Death to America." Do you condemn?
I don't talk to Fox News.
Do you condemn chants of "Death to America"?
I don't talk to people that use racist tropes.
Oh my God.
Why can't you just say whether or not you condemn people chanting "Death to America"? Why are you afraid to talk to Fox?
Fox News is not listen, using racist tropes towards my community is what Fox News is about, and I don't talk to Fox News.
Is "Death to America" racist?
Fox News.
Is chanting "Death to America" racist?
I'm talking about your guys' racist tropes. You know, you guys know exactly what you do. I know you're Islamophobic, but you guys got to go deal with it on your own self. You're not going to use me.
Wow. What a piece of shit. Like, you can't even say, hey, you know what, chanting "Death to America," that's not a good thing. I'm against that. You know, I am offended when I see somebody trying to burn the flag, because you have so many people that are out there dying for our freedoms so that people like that can say that stupid shit. But the fact of the matter is, there's no place in Christian culture for that. There's none. Everything in the Muslim religion contradicts everything that Jesus said prior to when the Antichrist Muhammad came. And this is true. Everything. You know, Jesus talks about having compassion and loving everybody, including your enemies. Muhammad talks about cutting people down and killing them just because they don't agree with what you're saying. But it's just kind of disgusting that, like, the liberal media has been covering for these people for so long, because it's always about the gotcha question. And here's a video of J.D. Vance putting on a masterclass performance with CNN, one of their anchors, who tries to get you on a gotcha question. But the man's a master class at this, and that's why Donald Trump chose him.
In August, you said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals have been properly vetted.
But there are 30,000 people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people are vetted. These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
We'll be back in 1 minute with more of our interview.
The masterclass, like, seriously, he absolutely owns. See, they always used to do these, like, gotcha questions where they would have absolutely no substance, but they'd ask something like it was a real thing. And there'd always be the gotcha question. Instead, now people are starting to go, where did you hear that? They start asking the reporters, where did you hear that? Can you give me one instance of that happening? And they can't do it. They just fumble because they're just covering for the Democrats and the failing policies that they are. It's sad that there's such an opposition to Donald Trump in today's world, because there are countries out there that arrest people just for free speech. Now, the UK took away people's gun rights in 95. Now in 2025, they're arresting people for memes, and they arrest people for saying words. Now, the thing is, Tucker Carlson has Piers Morgan on his show, and the whole story in the UK was that some woman was sitting there and some Muslim came up and punched her in the face, and she turned around and she called him a faggot. Now, she ended up getting arrested because she called him that word. And the guy that punched this woman in the face walks free in the UK. So Tucker Carlson presses Piers Morgan on this, and the most funny exchange I've seen in a long time. Check this one out.
Word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
You don't want to get arrested, do you?
doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No,
Is that like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, but would you
faggot,
use it?
faggot?
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to, because you're...
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say, I love gay people. Faggot.
I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
Would you say the word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
You don't want to get arrested, do you?
doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No.
Is that like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah.
It's just so funny to me that, like, Tucker, you know, he was so straight and narrow on Fox News, and the left didn't like that he was spitting fire all the time with just truth, with fact-checked facts and all of these things. And it's just crazy that that Fox bowed to remove Tucker, but I thought that was quite a funny exchange, because he just couldn't get him to say it on a podcast. But I mean, it probably would have caused a lot of uproar had he said it. So Piers might have taken the easy way out, taken the high ground there, but you still get arrested in the UK for memes. But anyways, this one here is 18 stolen seats from immigrants.
American elections for years. In 2018, Republican leadership, including the president himself, called for a citizenship question to be included in the 2020 census reports. To no one's surprise, when the Democrats took control, these requests went unanswered, and the question of citizenship was waived. But the fact remains that the concept of sanctuary cities and radical blue states ignoring immigration law and using the illegal population to manipulate the lines of congressional districts is in fact unconstitutional. Not only are there severe constitutional concerns from the inclusion of illegal immigrants, but the Census Bureau admitted to having made several, quote, errors in their 2020 census report. Convenient, seeing that as in 2020, Donald Trump was on top of the ticket. In 2020, the Bureau undercounted in primarily deep red states such as Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Texas, all red, while overcounting in radical left blue states like Delaware, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, and Rhode Island. This egregious error led to many states being denied proper representation in Congress and the Electoral College. So much so that these errors cost Republicans not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 seats in the House. In addition to the 2020 miscounting, including illegal immigrants in the census has improperly granted radical left blue states 12 additional seats in the United States House of Representatives. It's a total of 18 seats gained. That is a huge problem, and those are the facts. Mr. Mayfield, thank you so much for being here, sir. I have a question for you, if you don't mind. You, sir, are a seasoned litigator who has practiced in matters ranging from complex commercial litigation to constitutional and administrative law. In your expert opinion, and I want you to really speak about this in long form because I want this recorded, should illegal aliens be included in the apportionment process under the 14th Amendment?
The Supreme Court has never directly addressed that, Congressman. For apportionment purposes, as Congress has interpreted it, the Supreme Court has held that it currently applies to all people, regardless of citizenship. There is certainly an open question as to whether or not, if Congress were to direct the Census Bureau to do it differently, as to whether or not that would be legal.
Okay, so in regards to thinking more of a high level, in terms of being a citizen and what it means to be a citizen in this country, and I do believe that being a citizen in this country means that you have the right to choose the leadership if you're a tax-paying legal citizen in this country. If you are an illegal person in this country, should you, under any circumstances, be allowed to vote and choose leadership in this country?
That wouldn't be an expert opinion. As a citizen, I would object to that.
And what about you, Ms. Rodriguez?
I also object to that.
Mr. Miller?
Correct. Citizens should not be, illegal aliens should not be voting.
And that applies to you also, Mr. Young. I'd love to hear your response to this question.
Non-citizens are not allowed to participate in federal elections.
Okay. Are they participating in federal elections?
The studies have shown that there are very few instances which they have.
So that number needs to be 0. And as somebody who is a proud Texan, we and in Florida have done our best to get that number to 0. And in spite of the fact that I just voted a couple of weeks ago, and we voted with paper ballots that we had to show an ID for, that they didn't verify my address and where I lived. And then I had to put said piece of paper through a machine, copied it. They gave me another copy. Then they gave me my very proud I voted sticker. And even with those stringent rules, with my daughter who is 7 years old was actually with me, she too got an I voted sticker. And guess what? With those stringent laws, we still have illegals voting in federal elections. So the question is not even about what's happening in Texas. If it's happening in Texas, you have to imagine that while it may seem like a minuscule amount to you, sir, that number needs to be 0. And if it's happening in Texas with those stringent rules, imagine what's happening in other blue states that don't have anything that closely resembles that level of redundancy to ensure that the person that voted in that election is in fact a citizen that has an address and has an ID. And with that, I'll yield back the remainder of my time. Thank you very much.
So Democrats, through their illegal border crisis that they created, by bringing in all these illegals, when they did the census last time, they counted all the illegals in all the blue states. So, because of this, Democrats have stolen 18 congressional seats. That is just something that is so ridiculous. And how do you stop these people? Donald Trump is the only one standing up against these people when they're doing crazy shit like this. They are completely getting rid of all the U.S. constituents and just bringing in this third world country, trying to make their new voters, because Democrats are so not popular in today's day and age. They have completely fallen off all of that. So, since we had the very tragic shooting of the 2 National Guards, keep them in your prayers. We have been praying for Sarah's family, and we pray that the other one makes a very quick recovery. But Trump is going to re-examine all the people now that came in under the Biden administration after it was found out that the guy that did the shooting was an Afghan refugee who came here under the Biden administration after the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. And he also worked for the CIA. It's just weird stuff. But here's Trump saying that he's
going to put up with
re-examine
these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden And we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. We're not going to put up with these kinds.
If they can't love our country, we don't want them. That is the most truthful statement ever. Now, the left really seems to hate Stephen Miller because he's been the one that's been really in charge of a lot of the deportation operations, and people just have been calling him, you know, worse than Hitler and Nazi. He's Jewish. You can't make this stuff up. These people are so stupid that they use these references, and it's like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Because it just doesn't make any sense. But here's Stephen Miller, just lighting up the sky as he always does.
In the Biden administration, the Democrats have inflicted on this nation the worst national security threat in our history. We've never faced a threat like this. 20 million people brought into our country from the most failed societies on earth. Afghanistan, Somalia, Libya, Iraq, brought here. No vetting, no conditions, no rules. Brought here on visas, brought here on as refugees, brought here as asylees, brought here as illegals. Brought here in every way imaginable, by plane, train, bus, automobile, by land, by sea. For 4 straight years, they deluged this country. And now, more blood is being spilled as a result. What you heard tonight from President Trump, the breaking news here tonight, is saying that his government is going to accelerate efforts to review every person added to this country over the last 20 years, or the last 4 years, all 20 million. Now, obviously, if you're illegal, you're out automatically. But everybody else who was brought here, refugee, asylum status, whatever status, as he said, if you're not someone who loves this country, if you're not adding benefit to this country, then we're going to send you out of this country. Because it's enough already. No one else has to die. No one else has to be murdered. No one else has to be shot. No more empty seats are needed at the Thanksgiving table or the Christmas table because of what Democrats have done to this country. So tonight we heard from a commander-in-chief a historic announcement, a brave announcement, exactly what America needed to hear, Kellyanne.
He's fantastic. And he was the man that's definitely needed at this time. After 20 million illegals came in here, and excuse me, you had like Haitians eating cats and dogs and all this crazy shit that should have never been happening. All while the Democrats were just trying to add 18 seats, if not more. And now they're mad that Texas is trying to add a few more Republican seats that should have probably been done a long time ago. It's stupid. And then California wants to start gerrymandering and redistrict so they get even more even more Democrat seats, which would turn blood red Huntington Beach over into a Democrat representative now. And it's just, these people just don't get how not fair they are. They don't want to have two parties. They want to have one party, and they want their weird shit. But we just had, you know, and I've talked about it, Alyssa Slotkin, or whatever the hell her name is, one of the seditious six. She legitimately, she was just as bad, but she was out there demonizing, you know, the National Guard troops and all of that. Well, here's a video of a columnist from The Hill also sticking up for the shooter of this. Like, what is wrong with these people that they
Niall Stanage, the White House columnist for The Hill. I'm actually in Harlem today, but I hear news from Washington that 2 members of the National Guard have been shot, and I'm pretty mad about that. Now, to be clear, nobody should be shot, and the main responsibility lies with whoever is doing the shooting. It is also true that militarized policing is almost always a disaster. It is also true that the National Guard should not be on the streets of Washington, D.C., where there's no need for them to be. And the issue is they're being used as political pawns, and what always happens there, unfortunately, and we'll see what the motives were if they ever shot these people, but the problem is always that it is the foot soldiers who end up paying the price for political stupidity. Hi, I'm not.
You want to talk about political stupidity? That guy is dumb. I swear, they just can't seem to like these liberals are just so fucking weird. They have absolutely no faith whatsoever. Most of them anyways. And it's just nasty what they've been saying about the National Guard troops who are out there just trying to keep Americans safe. But here's Alyssa Slotkin, another video of Alyssa Slotkin demonizing our troops out there.
It makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground. So it was basically a warning to say, like, if you're asked to do something, particularly against American citizens, look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago.
So essentially, she was just saying there, oh, you know, these National Guard troops are going to get spooked at some point and accidentally shoot somebody. What a piece of shit. Like, that woman needs to shut her damn mouth. She's a disgrace, and being that she was ex-CIA, I really wonder how she actually managed to get votes to win in blood red Michigan during 2024. She's the only Democrat that won. But hey, here's Don Lemon, you know, that guy that used to be on CNN that they fired because he was a piece of shit too. Check this guy out. This guy also demonizing National Guard troops.
People, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written